It gives me great pleasure to introduce episode 119 of the Sussex by the Sea podcast. And I have got the returning wonderful comedian and all-round lovely German, Henning Wehn, big Hastings fan as well. Henning, how are you this evening?
No complaints, Chris. How are you?
I'm A-OK, sir. Well, Henning's on. We're going to talk a little bit about Hastings, but we're also going to talk a little bit about comedy. Anyone who follows Henning on social media will know that has tried, I think, as best as he can to kind of push back against quite a lot of the how can we say it, the kind of more authoritarian stuff that's going on in comedy, where people are being, particularly where you've got a sign, I won't offend anyone, all
Oh
this
yeah,
bullshit.
I mean, there's one reported case. There was one university, and they booked a comedy night, and and they wanted everyone to sign a long old letter with do's and don'ts, and essentially there was nothing left by the end once you'd sign all that away. So
Well, even mother-in-law jokes were gone.
yeah. Or father-in-law, not even
No?
no.
Oh, Jesus.
No, couldn't laugh about the husband, nor the wife, nor the children, nor the grandparents. So,
Yeah, but so
I
you're...
don't know. I mean, as you say, it's just authoritarian. I should never attempt to say a word with TH in it, but it's
Mm,
authoritarian,
mm,
as you say. So, and the saddest thing about it is when, say, someone isn't allowed to do his job, like, I don't know, say Jerry Sadowitz last year at the Fringe in Edinburgh when his run was cancelled after one show because some usher didn't like it. It's just absolutely bizarre. And then the most bizarre thing about that is when you then see other comics coming out in favor of such a stance and saying, oh, it's really good that he's not allowed to do that. And I say, don't you realize that you might be next?
That's what I don't understand. I mean, anyone, particularly Jerry Sadowitz, if anyone's ever seen him, the man, he offends everyone in
I
equal
mean,
measure. And
the show was called
mm,
Not for Anyone.
yeah,
I mean,
and he does have a sometimes, doesn't he? He does get his chap out occasionally. I'm seem to remember the. I mean, he goes there. So you would expect that anyone seeing that performance would be kind of a little bit pre-warned that actually this guy's pretty full on.
and then imagine cancelling his run because of someone who works there didn't like it.
I know, incredible.
And then and that is all because they're all not paid the living wage. So essentially they've got a lot more power because
Mm,
for the wages, what the venue, so certainly at the Fringe, so there is
mm,
lots of great venues up and down the country, but the Fringe is particularly dodgily run. So well, pay your staff the living wage, and then you
mm,
won't have nonsense like that. And then if someone doesn't want to work at that shift, tell them to do one and get someone else to do the shift.
mm. I did actually, Jerry Sadowitz. I saw something funny about him recently that he was sent a Q&A. I don't know if you've seen this one yourself. One of the things was if you weren't a comedian, that's one of the questions. If you weren't a comedian, what would you be? And he said Frankie Boyle, which I thought was quite funny.
Yeah, it's no
Uh,
love lost there. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, sort of talking about that. So we're going into kind of in a roundabout way. Like I know that this stuff had been coming for a while. I remember, like, say, particularly Rowan Atkinson back in the day, well, at least 10-ish years ago, was kind of talking about that kind of free speech type stuff. Me mentioning free speech doesn't mean we're all Nazis, by the way, anyone listening, that you cannot, particularly a creative art form, you cannot put boundaries on it. The more and more you put boundaries on that, the more homogenized and dull it becomes.
Mm.
I mean, maybe I'm not the right age anymore, but like I seem to think that particularly the great comedies have kind of faded over the last is sort of 10 to 15 years. You know, like I could reel off stuff up to sort of the end of the 90s, 2000s, where you had some fantastic comedy that would last forever. And it seems like those days have kind of gone in terms of the stuff that's produced in England.
Yeah, I mean, when people say that, and I'm not saying at all you're wrong, but I sometimes think when you say, oh, yeah, and
Fascist. Sorry, yeah,
back
go on.
in the
Sorry.
day was Hancock's Half Hour or Only Fools and Horses and that. But at the time, we remember only the great ones. There were loads of shit ones being made as well back then. And it's
Oh
just you
yeah.
only remember the good ones. So, and I think, look, going forward 30 years, people will be remembering great sitcoms that are being made now. I mean, I don't know.
Are you serious? Really? Are
Yeah, I
you
think
in them, Henning? Is this a sitcom that you're in or anything? Because
no, but something like Not Going Out, amusing.
okay,
Well,
okay.
if you like Derry Girls, definitely good.
Hmm.
This Country, absolutely fantastic. So, and the IT Crowd, Father Ted is good few years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm with you there. And like Toast to London, like Toast to London. Yeah, I think that was good. I just like I don't
The
know
Detectorists, that's not a bad one, is it?
which one.
The Detectorists, there with Mackenzie Crook.
No, I've not seen that. This I have to check this one out.
I think at all times there were a lot of, because a lot of the stuff from back in the day, if you just tune in, it's not very good. They just didn't stand the test of time. I mean, even like Ernie and
Oh,
Ernie,
Malcolm and Wise.
Morecambe and Wise. I mean, that's borderline unwatchable, isn't it?
Some of it's all right. Oh, but, well, okay, well, what's your opinion on, say, someone like Les Dawson then? Because he was of
I
the
haven't
same
seen
era.
enough of him to really have an opinion, but he's funny, isn't he?
He is funny. Yeah, you're not allowed to not find him funny, otherwise, you'll get a free match ban. No, I agree. I mean, again, it could be as you say. I'm prepared to take that on board. That yeah, you do remember the iconic shows like you say, your Blackadders, your Red Dwarfs. I'm trying to young ones, like particularly say someone like Rick
Well, look,
Mel.
the young ones, that didn't stand the test of time, did it?
Oh, come on.
Oh, it's borderline unwatchable.
Young ones is unwatchable. Are we Neil Orange Peel? Are we serious?
Oh, and then he sets
Henning.
fire to his mattress and all that. Oh, give me a break.
And like what about when he takes all the laxatives? He's trying to kill himself and his bum explodes. No, come on, Henning. That's
But
quality
can
comedy.
we agree on it's not as good as what people say how good it is?
You're talking to that. I am an absolute obsessively massive Rick Mail fan. So, yeah, well, Filthy Rich and Cat Flap may have not aged well, but young ones. But we'll agree to disagree. Can we do that, Henning?
We can always do that.
We could do that. So, I mean, as I started off with you, so we've talked about this that hasn't been in comedy before, which is the kind of, I know it's a strong word, but authoritarianism or whatever words we're trying to say is that the
And it comes from within
policing
the
comedy.
industry. That's the strangest thing.
Mm.
It comes from within the industry.
And so what is the impact there though? Because it must be like, I'm sure, like most things, you talk to fellow comedians that will without so informally will say, look, I know this is a load of old rubbish, but we need work, so we've got to kind of go along with it type stuff. I mean, have you found that? Because obviously you've worked for, you've done some work with the BBC and various other places. Do you find it's kind of like
I think there is both. I think there is both. I think there is some people who, like you are saying, calculating about it. But I think there is some people who genuinely think it's a good idea.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I find that baffling.
Yeah, so do I. Comedy should be able to, it isn't about offending a certain group or anything. It should just be free reign. You should have free reign within reason, obviously.
I mean, if it's hate speech, well, that's obviously, I mean, if something breaks the law, or if someone...
Depends what country you're in. If you're in Scotland, anything can break the law now.
So if someone says, let's leave the building and start a race riot, now that's not all right because that's breaking the law. Every venue, they're obviously running their business. So if they book a mixed bill show with a promoter and they don't know who is on that mixed bill show, that's quite common. So like, say, Chris Laverick, you book once a month, you book a comedy night at White Rock. So, and it's called Chris's Comedy Club. So, and then you always book the act. And say then 1 month you book, say, Graham Linehan, or Line, or whatever it's pronounced. So, and...
for the people that don't know him, that's the person who did Father Ted and IT Crowd and was it
called, not Black Book?
Black Book, wasn't it? Yeah.
So, and he's very, he essentially, he reckons if you've got a cock, you can't be a woman. So that's essentially what he's best known for. Now, if your audience to 90% consists of that demographic, and then you throw him on in their venue, Well, they are saying the number of pints we're selling that evening doesn't. It will be outweighed by the number of pints we're not going to sell in the future because our core crowd will hold the booking against us. That you then cancel that performance from a venue's point of view, I fully understand. So if it's like for commercial reasons, but if it's for some reason, some bizarre reason of trying to be right on, that is just absolutely absurd.
My issue is it shouldn't be the case. It should be that what happened to if I don't like an act, I just don't go and watch it.
Absolutely.
And not I want that person to lose that booking. I want that, and I'm going to try and shut the venue down by contacting their advertisers and how far it goes now.
I mean, we've seen it now again with Paul Curry and Soho Theatre about what did or didn't happen. Now, I've spoken to the story about that he kicked a few Israelis out the venue. Now, I don't know exactly what did and what didn't happen, but I've spoken to him after about it, and the version he tells me, I mean, he has been doing that show 200 times without any upheaval and 5-star reviews right, left and center. And all of a sudden, because of an incident which might or might not have happened, and certainly in all likelihood didn't quite the way it was portrayed by the media, he's become persona non grata and lost his gigs in the UK, lost his tour of Australia, lost his job at the clowning school in Belfast. So, and then you think, over what?
Yeah, well, when that culture's, like you said, like how it comes back and bites people.
But then you have to understand, if I was the clown school in Belfast and one of my teachers was implicated in being anti-Semitic, and then on a national level, on an international level even, well, you would have, as a business, you have to make then the decision, say, we can't have him teach here because it's more hassle than it's worth. And then as a business, you're almost forced into cutting your ties.
Well, yeah, but that's just because someone says someone is anti-Semitic. But by the way, there is anti-Semitism in the world. Before anyone thinks that I might not think that, but I think we probably both agree on that. Just because someone says something, that doesn't make it real. And perception, say that issue, the Israeli issue, any like say Zionism, things like that you should be allowed to criticize those things, like should be able to criticize other religions and other ideologies.
The broader point was more like that was trying to make is, once the news is out there like that, a business almost has got no alternative to saying, I'll cut my ties with person X, Y, or Z, because if they don't, it's all ending up on their doorstep.
Well,
so, and then you think as a business, you can be upstanding and you can be supportive of whoever is being accused, but that will be at a great cost to yourself, to your business.
Yeah, but I mean, it depends if you think they're false claims or not. I mean, it depends. Like, as you know, in the media, there's certain trigger issues that people will crack down on, and there'll be other issues which they will almost ignore, and because the world isn't a fair place. But that we have, there has been places that have stood up for people and fought against this, but they're very few and far between.
Well, and then that standing up is their business model.
Yeah.
So then you can say, how altruistic is that? Because it's just their business model saying, oh, we're booking all the people who are the outcasts. Now, I'm in favor of that because at least they can earn a living. But it's again just a way of working on your brand as a venue, saying we are booking the people that aren't allowed to perform anywhere else. Well, that becomes your USP, and everyone knows, oh, they're edgy. Let's go and watch what they've got on.
Well. Again, it's the power of the customer. If you're going to have venues that kick people out and don't have them because they upset whatever morality or ideology that they want to push all of a sudden in a comedy venue, all the power to the other venues that pick them up and give them a platform. In my book, it's again.
Absolutely. But again, it's a business decision as well, isn't it?
Well, if it makes you money, yeah.
Who does pick you then up?
Because the venues that are going to be like that. Well, I personally, I hope that sort of thing. I mean, if you're going to sit there and ban people for whatever reason, be it left wing, right wing, whatever, because of ideology or whatever, because it's not a safe space for them. If you lose money because less people come to your venue because the place isn't as funny, or people get the perception that you're killing the comedy market, you're killing creativity. Well, that's on you, isn't it? Really, I mean, it's more the power to any venue that does it, and of course they're going to try and monetize it. Because I mean, that's actually, we're moving on to something I wanted to ask you, which was, what is the comedy scene like at the moment? I know that obviously that you're coming back from COVID, you know, in terms of venues, in terms of, has it picked back up? You know, I know you've had
now there is certain other issues. Sales have picked up definitely because during COVID and post-COVID, the difficulty was that a lot of people still had fridge tickets, as they were known, fridge tickets, because it was tickets that were bought a long time ago for shows that were then being postponed. And once someone had 5 sets of fridge tickets, and how they were unlikely to buy another pair of tickets for something, so they waited until they had all gone. So that meant if you listed a show or put a show up for sale, tickets for sale after COVID, they didn't go very well because people still had so many unused tickets at home. So, but they've all been used up, and I would say the market is in rude health. A lot of the venues do struggle with the energy prices.
Okay.
Because their overhead's gone up massively, and if you have got a theatre with God knows how much light and God knows how much heating, their overheads are sensational. Like electricity prices, which is one of the main expenses in a venue, if that's been tripled, which it has in many cases, then all of a sudden, well, there is a good chance you go under, and a few venues have gone under.
Okay. And so, like, I know you had some issues with the Fringe. Is that a place that you would go back to, or what's your situation with the Edinburgh Fringe at the moment, Henning?
Look, I've been there from 2004. I've been there every year from 2004 until 22. And last year was the first year I didn't go, because 2 years ago I didn't enjoy it for the first time. And if you don't enjoy something, it's no point going. So, and I'm not saying I'm never going back or nothing. I like Edinburgh. I like watching Hearts, and I like it for cycling. I like playing pitch and putt there in the town centre. That's all great. But they've got a massive housing shortage, and we obviously know about that in Hastings as well, but they've got a massive housing shortage. And that's now showing its face, rearing its face, definitely with the rent for the month. So I was looking for this year just to get an idea.
Yeah.
And I saw a 2-bedroom flat, normal flat, so nothing special, $9,000 for the month.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh, okay. All right. I thought it was a bit pricey there, but not that.
So, and then I thought,
yeah, tent. So it's a tent.
Well, they have got what they have started. You'll laugh, Chris. They have in Musselburgh, which is a good few miles outside Edinburgh, they have unearthed some student accommodation where you can then stay. But the difficulty there is obviously then you rely on public transport to get in and out late at night. That's a no-starter. If, say, you have got 2 shows a day, your own show in the evening, and you want to do something else work-wise midday, you have got nowhere to stay in between. So that's not really feasible either.
What's happening with the Fringe? Because I mean, we touched on the kind of.
Well, it's getting bigger and bigger. There's more shows on.
I know, but like, if people can't afford to stay there and have a run, which is like, obviously there's lots of comedy and performances that go to the Fringe that are, shall we say, out there, and if you can't afford those types of people, that more and more will not be able to go there. If
no, that's right. You have to be moneyed. You have to be moneyed. Either you have to have the money from home, that your parents give you the money, or you have to be on good earnings. You have to be a fully established act. So if you're not ticking either of those 2 boxes, I can't see how you can afford it.
And the Fringe are not trying to do anything about that? I mean, or is it they're just more interested in just making a few quid? Or
they try something here or there, but if there is no accommodation. There is no accommodation. So they could say, yeah, we build lots of tents, we pitch up lots of tents on the meadows, but it'd be shite as well, wouldn't it? Let's be honest. Let's live in a tent for a month. That's rubbish. So yeah, so I don't know what they can do.
Could comedy prison ships, you know, you could.
Yeah, send the one from Portland, send that round up the coast. Yeah.
Now we're getting on to the good stuff. Talking of things that Henning loves. Henning, a bit of massive Hastings fan like me, so well, I do bump into him occasionally. Last time I bumped into him, we were with some annoying Horsham fan.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, what a lovely
And I
person.
still haven't made it up to your box.
Hey. Well, actually, it goes straight to a question that old Windy Gale, John Gale, asked me because I reached out to the Hastings fans, and as usual, in their masses of one person that sent me a request, I said what we were going to be talking about, and all he says is this: "Are you main stand?"
I'm main stand all day, every day.
Je suis main stand. So what you need to do, Henning, is you need to go to the PA box where Flat White Andy is, who does the videos, you know, with Aggie. I don't know if you've seen any of those videos. Yeah. And get your Je suis main stand badge, as you definitely earned that.
Absolutely.
So, funny enough,
with the Nutters and their drum.
No, that's we're not in the main stand. We're not allowed there.
I'm not standing with the Nutters and their drum.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah, well, talking of Nutters, we're all lovely, but Ashford was the last game Hastings played. Unfortunately, we lost on pens. It's so funny that I'm now talking to you as obviously the famous Ashford game where you were in cycling shorts and the wonderful
fans away.
And the wonderful, awesome Sir Gary Histed was in his mankini. Since then, we've had no games. So we got not anything to talk about.
Taking fans away.
Stop. Sorry. Hey, yeah. You had to be there for that one.
What I'm asking is, are you taking fans?
Oh God, what a day that was! What a day! An awesome game, and yeah.
I saw the footage, by the way, from the Ashford game where you got the Ashford fella, and he was doing all the singing for Hastings as well.
Oh, that was beautiful. Yeah, I mean, yes, he was a really, really nice guy. Actually, he wouldn't go away. He was like like one of those sort of relatives at Christmas who just won't stop talking to you. But he he joined in with our songs because the Ashford lot weren't really making much noise. Unfortunately, the buggers beat us, but you know that's where it goes sometimes. Henning, let's talk this season. Now, this season has been the beginning. Asking you because I'm completely biased. Asking you, what did you think about the changes, Paul Barnes coming in, and how did you feel that all went?
Well, when they put out, when Paul Barnes, when he put out, by all accounts, lovely fella, but then when he put out that statement before his first game, where he said the mission statement, how he wanted it all to go in writing, and it was littered with spelling mistakes, and then it was, and then like, it all made very little sense. And then you think, oh, mate, just get the bips out. So, and then just really overcomplicated nonsense.
Yeah.
And then they decided so they lost all the players when they told them that they're going to train in London.
Yeah.
And then they train in London, then they lose obviously all the Hastings-based players.
Yeah.
And then Paul Barnes leaves, they train back here again. They're essentially on their third squad for one season.
I know. It's crazy.
So, and considering that, it's going very well with the playoffs still in reach, and it's great to have Aggie back, where I still don't quite understand how that happened, because when Chris left, he left with a reputation to rival Guardiola.
He'll love to hear that. I'll have to tell him that.
So, and then he goes to Stevenage, then he had just started at Stevenage. They sacked their manager. All of a sudden, he is leading out their first team squad in was it league game or cup game?
I think it was the FA Cup. I think it was. I could be wrong.
And then you think, well, is he going to be the manager now? And because you're still in your head that he's essentially level par with Guardiola. So, and now he's back at Hastings. What's that all about?
He couldn't get away from us. He couldn't get away from us, Henning, could he? I mean, what an awesome fan base we are.
Absolutely. More supporters than Stevenage. That's
absolutely.
That's for sure. And what with Aggie I found funny, when I've got a good mate who used to be, did you remember the story in Hartlepool when they voted the mascot in, Angus the monkey? Yeah. So, and that's Stuart Drummond, and he's a good mate of mine.
Oh, excellent.
So, and they'd sacked their manager, Hartlepool, and I had Stuart on the phone, and I said, get a rumour going, then, because it was like, then who are they looking at? So, and I said, get a rumour going, they're looking at Chris Agata from Hastings. And he managed to make that so successful that by the end, Aggie was 6-1, still a 6-1 to become the next manager of Hartlepool.
That's what I mean. The power, Henning, the power you have, you would just, Well, what does that? Well, what does that say about news in general? If just start a rumor and. But yes, I mean, what do you? I mean, we've got this Sussex Cup game coming up against Littlehampton, the might of Littlehampton. Littlehampton, it always reminds me of a Spike Milligan joke, but I don't know how much of a fan of Spike Milligan you are. Do you remember do you remember the one where there's a man having a bath and Spike comes through the water?
No.
And it's.
But I've read his book the other day that said he's
Which one? Oh, which one though? Because he's wrote loads.
Oh, the my part in Hitler's downfall.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because it's my part in his downfall, his part in my downfall. And I've got a few. But he's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. So we've got Littlehampton in the cup. I mean, can you see us? Can you see us making the playoffs? Can you see us getting to that Sussex Cup final?
Yeah, I don't know about the Sussex Cup final, but the playoffs, they're well within reach. I mean, they've changed slightly the last two home games. The attacking play seemed to predominantly be Ollie Black throwing balls into the box.
Well, he's got such a weapon on him. He can throw balls into the box easily. Yeah,
but then you think after that happened for the third time, the other team are aware of it. So, and then there's like 20 players in the box, and then it's obviously very difficult then to score from that. And it's all, I found that, and Chris will have perfectly sensible reason. He knows 100 times more about football than me. There will be a very good reason why they're doing it. But I felt that was a bit underwhelmed by that approach.
Well, yeah, you in the main stand. So, yep, the Boo Boys. It is an exciting end to the season. I never thought, after what I consider a nightmare, and any fan that knows me knows that I thought the whole Paul Barnes stuff was well, anyway, let's not go there. But like, for us to be in this situation, I find incredible. I just think we're really lucky. I just think we've got away with it there. A lot of other clubs would be rooted to the bottom, but it's fantastic that we got people that actually care.
Absolutely.
Involved and yeah. So, well, Henning, look, listen. What wonderful. Because a little birdie cheap was in my ear telling me that you're testing out some new material for your tour. Where are you going to be out and about?
Here, there, everywhere. Newhaven, Peacehaven, Lewis, you name it, Brighton. So all over East Sussex.
But not Hastings.
No, never shit on your own.
Never shit on your own doorstep. For anyone listening or who's going to be watching, what do they go on to have a look at your tour dates and things like that?
Oh, it's just my website, henningwehn.de.
Okay, lovely. Before you go, how's your Schalke getting on?
I mean, if you think you're getting 60,000 people every week, and you're almost rooted to the bottom of the table in the second tier, that is just not very good. I mean, we will be staying up now. I think we've got a 4-point gap. I think that, if anything, will start to increase, but very disappointing.
Okay. Who's in charge at Schalke these days? Who's in charge at Schalke?
Well, on board level, an old schoolmate of mine.
Oh, really?
Axel Hefer, yeah, he's the chairman of the board, and that's also is great for him and whatnot. Because he comes from the ultra side of things,
So he's a bit emotional.
and he's probably liaising with people. Yeah, you wouldn't want in charge of anything. So that is so essentially like if the bloke with the drum became
Oh, what, George?
chairman.
Yeah. If George became chairman, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, that could be. He's lovely, George.
Yeah.
He's a classical teacher. He's a classical music teacher. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. You can hear that. You can
Yeah,
hear
yeah, yeah. No, but
no, nothing against George, but it's just like I think the chairman wants to come from the main stand.
on that bombshell. On that bombshell. No, Henning, thank you for coming on, and it's always a pleasure. And when's the next Hastings game you can make? I know you weren't too sure about the semi-final, but
I looked it up. Put it in my clever book. I can do the 16s.
yeah, that's the Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're gonna have about 1 million Tuesday games as well. So I don't know.
Yes, which is very handy for me.
Oh, excellent. Okay, well, 16. I'll give Andy a shout, and I'll tell him to get your badge, your main stand badge, ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be wearing it with pride.
Yeah. We'll have to get a behind the goal badge going, but I don't know how well that will go down with the rest of them. Henning, thank you very much. Always a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Chris. And
take care.
Aggie, I love you. Thanks for coming back all the way from Stevenage.
All right, mate. Take care.
Bye, Chris. Thank
Cheers,
you.
mate.
Bye.